Good morning, guys. Right, the keto challenge. A couple of things that we need to understand here about keto first and foremost. Now, they turn around and say, what's the shopping list? The shopping list really depends on the foods that you like. I can't determine what you like and what you don't like. So, for example, if I say to you for breakfast, I want you to have 3 whole eggs and avocado, and you don't like avocado, well, then that's what you don't like. So, what we do is we establish ground rules for what the meals are based on or based not on, for example. So what we're doing in the keto is we're eliminating carbohydrates, all carbohydrates. I will put up a list of what carbohydrates are, just in case you're not sure. But things like bread, pasta, rice, cereal, potatoes. We can have vegetables, but we have to make the distinction between vegetables and root vegetables. For example, potatoes, sweet potatoes, turnip. They're high in starches, all right? So we don't want anything that grows below the ground, if that makes sense. Anything above the ground is fine. We also have to establish a certain fact that the plant is a vegetable, and then goes off the plant is a fruit. So for example, a tomato is not a vegetable, a tomato is a fruit because it goes off the plant. So tomatoes can be very high in sugar. Remember, we want to eliminate sugar, so we're thinking about no fruit and limiting those sort of starchy vegetables, right? So anything, we don't want anything that goes below the ground because a root holds on to the energy of the plant, i.e. starch, carbohydrates. We want to eat the plant, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all that kind of stuff, especially the greener the better. So all those kind of things. Now we can get away with some fruits, for example, peppers. Peppers aren't vegetables, peppers are fruits, but things like stir fry and a salad and stuff like that is fine. So that's what your meals are based on. So I'll give you an example of some of my meals and the way that I prepare them. So my breakfast is always eggs. No matter what I do, no matter what kind of diet I'm on, pardon me, intermittent fasting, keto, not keto, whatever, my first meal is always eggs. Eggs should be the staple point of your first meal, always, irregardless of what. I don't care if you're fed up with a system. For me, egg is the most nutritious food, full food source that we can ever eat. It's all your amino acids, it's got all your essential fatty acids. Perfect. It is a whole egg is the perfect food. So I'll have 5 whole eggs, half an avocado, and a wee tablespoonful of hummus, so red pepper hummus. That's my breakfast. All right. Alternatives to that would be a Greek yogurt. So I made a Greek yogurt with a couple of blueberries. Now I did say fruit, but berries are not fruit. This is where we really now start to get very specific on things to make this really work well. For example, you can have nuts. Nuts are fine. Cashew nuts are not a nut. Alright, cashew nuts are high in carbohydrates. A nut is something that grows inside a shell, right? A seed that grows inside a shell. A cashew nut, if you've ever seen it, actually grows outside a fruit. It's like a big apple or a big pear, big red pear, and the cashew nut grows outside it. That's not a nut, so it's high in carbohydrates, so we don't want cashew nuts. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes. They grow in pods, like peas. There's 3 or 4 of them in a pod, so technically they're not a nut. All right, so there's carbohydrates in them. So again, this is where it gets very nuancy. So for example, again, right now the shopping list is very individual to the person. So my breakfast would be a Greek yogurt with some blueberries and strawberries, and that's basically what that would be. Maybe a scoop of protein, and just up to protein, or it's always eggs. I'm going to make an omelette, I'm going to make fried eggs, I'm going to make poached eggs, something. I like omelets as well too, because I can put in some cheese, I can put in some ham, I can saute some mushrooms and some spinach, pour the eggs on top of it. I can make a really nice big feast out of that. So that's breakfast. Lunch for me is always something quick on the go and something easy. But if I was sitting down, I might have a salad, say a tuna salad, lots of lettuce leaves. I mean, I really want to fill up the plate with lettuce leaves and spinach leaves. I'm going to have some feta cheese, I'm going to have some olives, I'm going to have some tuna, like I said, I'm going to have some dressing, probably Caesar salad. Caesar salad's quite good. Or I'll make my own vinaigrette with a bit of olive oil and some salt and a bit of lemon, stuff like that. Olive oil is great as well too, because remember, we want all the essential fatty acids, we want all the protein. There's just no carbohydrates. I might stick in some red pepper, some green pepper, a slight amount of it. Remember, we don't want to overdo anything that might have potential carbohydrates, but we don't want to sacrifice the things that have fiber either. Fiber is very important. All right. So then dinner, what would dinner look like? Dinner for me is excellent in keto, right? Because I can really have a big feast. So for example, and again, one of the things that puts a lot of people off doing keto is they think they've no options. Oh, what am I going to eat? I am limited to chicken and vegetables, which is fine. Sometimes I'll have that, chicken and a whole pile of vegetables. If I'm having chicken, sometimes I'll make it into a stir fry. And what I'll do is I'll use half of one of those wee Amoy sauces, sweet and sour, black bean. There's not that much in it, guys. They take you out of your ketosis, but it makes it so a load of broccoli, a load of spinach, a load of peppers and bamboo shoots, fire it all in there and I stir it all up, stick in some chicken. I'll have a beef stir fry, I'll have a chicken stir fry, or whatever. In fact, if you go to Paul's Butchers, I think, they do beef strips in a Mexican sauce, like a Mexican beef strips. They're for stir fry, and they also do a gypsy stir fry. One of each, fire in a pan, bang, happy days, great keto meal. I can have that. Chili beef, I leave out the kidney beans, and I have it with cauliflower rice. Perfect, you get that in Sainsbury's. Bolognese sauce, I have it with courgette spaghetti. Brilliant, you'll get that in Tesco's or Sainsbury's. So there's loads of options you actually stop. Blackened salmon with vegetables, or the zero carb noodles you get them in the health shop down in Caroline Road. You also probably get them in, I know they sound disgusting, but they're actually quite nice. The fish noodles, you get them in Sainsbury's, and there's zero carbs. There's loads. Go online, go on Amazon, just put in zero carb noodles and you'll find a whole pile of stuff. Loads of those. Get them in the like rice noodles, absolutely fantastic. If you're having a Chinese curry, you can have the curry, again there's no carbs, and have your cauliflower rice. Rice is usually just a filler if I'm having a curry, if I'm having chili. So once you mix it all up, you really can't tell the difference. So there's loads there. Snack options. We want to limit our snacks anyway, because we still want to make sure we maintain some sort of caloric deficit. But things like the grenade bars or fulfill bars. Now, see if you're buying grenade bars or fulfill bars, they can be expensive, about £2.50. They used to be £2, £2.50, now even £3 in some shops. But see if you go on TikTok shop and you put in grenade bars. I bought a box of 12 for £13, right? And I keep them in the fridge. Low carb bars, there's everywhere at the minute, and you get your protein flapjacks or low carbs, grenade bars, refill bars. There's a million protein bars, guys, out there, and they taste really nice. They're that nice sweet chocolate fix. A couple of squares of dark chocolate, as long as it's above 90%, you'll find there's very little carbs, and the cocoa is very good for you. So that's your snacks. Snacks again, things like pepperami sticks, meat sticks. Perfect. Cheeses, I'll put up a list of all the cheeses you can have. You will never feel hungry on keto, guys. You shouldn't feel hungry. And what I want you to do in part of the group is put up your meals, show your recipes, because again, usually the hardest part of keto is, oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to eat, but you haven't actually really explored it, you haven't looked into it. If you even Google it, keto recipes, it's endless at the moment. You can make a keto bread, you can make keto pancakes, you can make absolutely everything. So as far as me giving you a shopping list, guys, it's really about what you're willing to do. How much prep time do you have? What are you prepared to make, and who are you cooking it for? So try and think about that. It's impossible for me just to write out a list. It's about guidelines. No carbohydrates, high fat, high protein. We also want to think about them when we're talking about fats as trying to get a good balance of your fat and not always going saturated fat. Do you remember the thing years ago, there was the keto diet the Atkins diet, and then keto was around for a while, but the keto was around about 10 years ago. I can't think of a better word other than it was bastardized, and they came something completely unhealthy. So for example, people were having sausages and bacon, normal sausage and bacon and black pudding. That's keto. There's no carbs, but it's not the right kind of fats that you really want to have. It's just too much saturated fat. So it's trying to find a balance in your fats. So for example, eggs, avocado, you get your saturated, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats, and I'll do a couple of videos during the 2 weeks of all these different things, the fats, what you're looking for, what's the best kind of nuts, on all things like that. For example, even when we're cooking with fats, although I highly recommend olive oil for that polyunsaturated fat, you do not cook with olive oil. I'm going to say this again, do not cook with olive oil. Olive oil's got a very low heat threshold. It's called a smoke point, very low smoke point. Once you cook with it, once you heat it, it actually becomes rancid, it becomes poisonous into the system, and it's actually not good for you. So never ever cook with olive oil. It's a dressing. It's meant to be cold. Right? You never heat olive oil. If you're cooking, you want something like coconut oil, even a bit of butter, even a bit of lard's actually better for you. But it is, keeping account of the saturated fat quantity. All right. You can cook with avocado oil, you can cook with macadamia oil. They have a higher heat point, a higher heat threshold or smoke point. Right, so be careful with things like that. We're thinking about what kind of fats are we getting in. Salmon, fish, red meat. We want our fat content to be high, right? Because it's good for you, it's good for your hormones, but we have to balance out. Like I said, Keto kind of went very wrong, and Atkins diet went wrong because it was all just the wrong kind of fat. It was fries and steaks cooked in shitty oils and all that kind of stuff. And people were actually, although they were losing weight, their health markers changed. We don't want that. I want you to lose as much weight as possible, but I want you to be healthy and fit, and I want you to actually consider keto as like a lifestyle change, all right? Because it is very good for you. Now, we're talking about things then like we want to ensure like things like salad dressings, mayonnaise is perfect. Please try to avoid low-fat foods. We want full-fat food. For example, Greek yogurt, spreads, mayonnaise. Do not go low-fat. Whenever they take away the fat from something, they add sugar. Then the carbohydrate content is high. I'm going to show you this during the week, but if you actually go in the shop and you get a bottle of mayonnaise and a bottle of low-fat mayonnaise, the low-fat mayonnaise will have less calories because there's less fat, but it's going to have double or triple the sugar. It's going to be high in carbohydrates. Because when they remove the fat, which is the tasty stuff, they have to make it tasty with something else. It is lower calorie, but it's high in carbs and it's not actually that good for you. So that's the wee things that we want to try and focus on. So what I want you to do the next couple of days is think about what kind of meals you're going to have, put up the meals, put up the recipes, share it with everybody, because like I said, the hardest part of this is running out of ideas. So once we help each other with it, go to the supermarket, take a picture of something, look at this is low keto. You can get low keto fucking crisps now, for Christ's sake. Because it was such a fad, there's low keto stuff everywhere if you just look. So be careful with this. Alright, now remember, there's always going to be hidden carbs in something. So if you're not sure, put it into your NutriCheck app, track it. We're not really trying to track calories. We shouldn't have to when we're doing keto, because the whole point of keto, it's a natural way to reduce calories, because we're eating less of the stuff that's hyperpalatable. For example, the pastas and the bread and the biscuits and the chocolate, all the stuff that you normally consume too much of, we've removed it all. So they overeat, like I said this in a video this morning, I think, for Facebook. I don't think I've ever seen anybody getting fat eating too much chicken, or too many fucking steaks, or too many eggs. It's the other stuff that we're now trying to remove. All right, there's loads of snack options, there's loads of everything. One thing I need to point out as well too is, you see anybody did the fasting before, we emphasised the hydration. You need to hydrate on keto. If you start getting headaches or low energy, because you're dehydrated. Not because you're not drinking enough water, it's because the body doesn't have any way to retain fluid inside the muscle. Remember, carbohydrates is basically glucose, which is then stores in muscle as glycogen. Every gram of glycogen pulls in about 3 to 4 grams of fluid, so the muscle stays hydrated because it's saturated with glycogen, which is carbohydrates. Once we remove the carbohydrates and we remove the glycogen, we've removed the muscle's ability to retain fluid. Therefore, you become dehydrated and you cramp and you get headaches and you get tired and you get hungry and all this kind of stuff, which are not real signals. They're all just signals of dehydration. So if we have our sodium in the morning and our apple cider vinegar, we keep ourselves hydrated with the sodium, because there's no way to keep the muscle fluid in because there's no glycogen. Again, we'll explain this a wee bit longer further down the line when we start doing more videos. Everything that we do here, guys, will be video format. Alright, so you cannot go wrong with this. I don't want you to have to misread something. It's all video format. Everything we do, everything I show you, everything we talk about will all be in video format. Please ask as many questions as you want. Right? I'm here to help you. For me, keto is a fantastic way of life. I'm going to show you at the end of the 14 weeks how do we modify that to fit into your lifestyle. But please, we're trying to do 14 days here straight. There's no alcohol as well too. Right? Give yourself 2 weeks. I'm sure you cannot fucking drink for 2 weeks in order to lose as much weight as possible. Come on now, people. All right, we have to really get on a bit of discipline and a bit of determination here. It's 14 days. I want you to try and lose at least a stone in 14 days. I can't help you do that if you're not going to adhere to the rules and start drinking and stuff like that and adding on carbohydrates where they shouldn't be and sneaky biscuits, because you're just going to shut down the whole process. All right, one day of carbohydrates will completely knock you out of ketosis and switch off the whole process. All right, so let's get started with this. Think about what meals that you going to have with the food that you like, and how are we going to structure that, and then even post them up. What does this look like? And I'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Does it look good? If you're going to post up something, please post up the nutrients beside it, the nutritional content, so I can see and we can read through it and point it out to everybody else in the group as well too, just in case there's something there we can all learn from. All right, remember, this is a group endeavor. That's the whole point of doing these in groups, so we can learn together, work together, achieve together, succeed together. Good job.